he picked the wrong family, and not scared of a conflict, and we're not scared. We're not running. We're coming at him.
Hey guys, welcome to the think tank. It's great to see y'all. Looks like you guys were here for a few minutes. I caught a little bit of it. I've seen that you guys were kind of talking about Jazzy looking at me, talking to myself. I've thought about that so many times. Like, what do they think I'm doing over here? So, hey, Tracy, how are you doing? Chopper and Dandy, great to see you guys. I think I seen Shauna. Great to see you, friend. Great to see you. So yeah, there's some pretty sad cases out there. The boy in the box, absolutely. Yeah, but hey, that's good. That's good. Hey, Wolfie, good to see you, friend. Chit chatting away. That's awesome. No, that's awesome. So yeah, The Boy in the Box, I've been watching bits and pieces of that, and it's absolutely heartbreaking. It's just, are you kidding me? The way people are with their kids, I mean, when it comes to kids, it's hard because a person just wants to go on the attack. It's old people, kids, people that can't defend themselves. I'm just going to see here. Charles Setta is still missing. And I think her last name is Grau. So I know that Mind of Monsters has been working on this case and is close with the family. And it's sad because there's really not much out there on her. So I am trying to find. So Mind of Monsters, her link is in the description. She's got a very, very good, lots of information. So let me see what I can find here. Okay, how do I do this? There's no pause, alrighty. I wanted to at least find like a poster or something, but for whatever reason, I'm going to try it this way. Purple alert. I get confused with all these multicolored alerts. I really do. Okay, I'm bound and determined. Is this one? No. So we will make our way to the Morphew case in just a minute. I did have something up. That's the thing. I don't know what I did. I must have obviously knocked it down. Okay, so I'll go up here. I guess I'm going to do it this way. Jazzy's out there barking at the neighbors. Our neighbors, they use that house as a holiday house. So when they show up, she's pretty darn happy. So I know these are not as big as we want them, but I hope that you guys can see her. So this is Charlottesetta Lynn Grau, white female, born on July 18th, 2003, 5'4", 100 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes, and no specific identification on her. So no tattoos, nothing that stands out. So if you happen to see this gal, 911. This is, again, Mind of Monsters. I wish I could make them bigger. Okay, so here's another one. So on March 15th, 2023, the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office issued a Florida purple alert for a missing 19-year-old female. Detectives assigned to robbery homicide unit said that Charlottesetta Lynn Grau, 19, was last seen at 4125 Park Street North, unincorporated St. Petersburg, Florida, in September 2022. According to the sheriff's office, she disappeared under suspicious circumstances. Grau suffers from a variety of mental disorders and has the mental capacity of a 7-year-old. Oh my God, you guys. So she disappeared under suspicious circumstances. Throughout the investigation, there have been statements that Grau might have traveled to Tennessee with an unknown male. However, there's no evidence supported by these statements. She previously lived in Illinois and has family in that state. If you have any information, please contact either 911 or the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. She does have pierced ears, a small scar on her forehead. So let's see, Detective Prasad at 727-582-6483. So keep your eyes out for that little one there. It's like, oh my word. She has been gone for a while, but that doesn't mean that a person cannot be found. Hey, James, how you doing, friend? Good to see you. Good to see you. So, the documents. Oh, my word, guys. Oh, my word. So, we're on page 37 of 131. There we are. So, just about ready, friends? Mark it, set, go. I am going to get one of the missing posters for Charlottesetta, and I will be putting it in the community tab. Again, Mind of Monsters has got a lot of information on this particular case. She seems to be working with the family, and she's very good at this. She's a great advocate, guys. Okay. Barry Morphew. Uh-huh. So back to Broomfield, and this is where he was working, staying at the hotel, and was, uh-oh, here comes the horses. Hey, ladies. No, don't yell. So there is a lot of information actually about his behaviors and what he was doing while he was in Broomfield after leaving that house on May 10th. Yep. Let's go. Vocals warmed up. Hydrated. Let's go. Okay. So, video footage, surveillance video, Barry's Ford F-350, and Barry's phone. So before we get to, thank you, Dandy. Thank you so much. Hey, Carrie, good to see you, friend. Welcome, welcome. Happy Sunday. So here in Canada, it's Turkey Day, I guess. It's Thanksgiving. And I just found this out last night. So, hubby brought home some furniture last night. That's what I'll be doing when I'm not streaming. Rearranging everything. Okay, and I will add that missing poster when we're finished up here. All right. I'm settled in. Let's do this. Alrighty. Video footage was collected by the CBI from the Holiday Inn Express at 11401 Via Vara, Broomfield, Colorado, for May 10th, 2020. The following timeline of events include the surveillance video, telematics of Barry's truck, and his phone activities to provide his actions on that May 10th. So at 8:14 a.m., Barry's phone was at the Holiday Inn Express, 11401 Vera, Broomfield, Colorado. 8:41 a.m., Barry texts Suzanne and said, I made it to Broomfield. Call me when you get a chance. At 8:46 a.m., Barry walked into the hotel carrying 2 white trash bags, a khaki backpack, a pair of boots, and a dark-colored item and a piece of clothing with blue teal coloring. I wish these were colored photos. At 10:03 a.m., Barry exited his hotel room. He was carrying the charcoal long-sleeve shirt and 2 white bags and a pair of boots. At 10:20 a.m., the location of Barry's phone was near the lot of McDonald's, 625 Interlochen Boulevard in Broomfield, Colorado. At 10:22 a.m., the driver of the Ford F-350 opened in the rear parking space of the same McDonald's lot. And this is coming from the truck's telematics. Barry is seen on video provided to the CBI from the First National Bank, 615 Interlochen Boulevard, located adjacent to the McDonald's lot. He is carrying unknown items in his hand and placing them into 2 separate trash cans located on the edge of the McDonald's between 10:19 and 10:41 a.m. per the CBI. No timestamps. So these, I guess, would be the pictures that they had. But we did go through what they had for evidence. We did go through that yesterday, and it does give in that stream all of these pictures nice and clear and in color. So Barry returned to the truck, oriented to the inner portion of the driver's side door. After a few minutes, he turned with his hands together and walked to a trash can across the lot. He returned to his truck and drove away. What the hell was he doing? Ooh, smoked turkey. Nummy, nummy. Okay, so let's see here. At 11:23, back up. From 10:47 a.m. to 11:18 a.m., the location of Barry's phone was in or beside the lot of the Men's Warehouse, 160 East, Flatiron Crossing Drive, Broomfield, Colorado. From 10:50 a.m. to 11:17 a.m., the driver and passenger doors of the F-350 were open and closed at least 7 times in the parking lot near the Men's Warehouse, 160 East, Flatiron Flatiron. What am I doing? Flatiron Crossing Drive near Broomfield, in Broomfield. 11:23 a.m. The locations of Barry's phone and truck were at the Holiday Inn Express. At 11:36 a.m., Barry walked to the hotel lobby wearing a black t-shirt, carrying under his left arm a black binder and disorganized papers. At 11:56 a.m., Barry exited his room, this time wearing a white shirt and carrying the binder with papers. He walked to his truck at 11:57. So this is him going in with the white shirt, papers everywhere, coming out. Let me see here. Hotel lobby wearing the black shirt, carrying under. Exit his room wearing the white shirt. Okay, so maybe they're reverse. But those papers were all over the place. Like the disorganization was immense. From 11:57 a.m. to 12:25 p.m., Barry's phone was near the Via Vara worksite for the wall. At 10:06 p.m., Barry made an outgoing call to Redacted. From 12:28 p.m. to 12:29 p.m., the location of Barry's phone was at the Holiday Inn Express. Telematics of the F-350 also registered the driver door opening and closing multiple times in the hotel lot. What the heck was he doing, guys? This guy's a mess. At 12:36 p.m., Barry arrived at the hotel parking lot in his truck, got out of the truck, and carried one white trash bag, larger in size than the previous bags, in one hand. In the other hand, he carried a black container along with a green item, possibly a piece of clothing. 12:38 p.m., Barry placed bags, a black container, and clothing from his truck on the curb near the hotel lobby. He then walked to his truck, appeared to pick up a small item from inside, picked up the trash bag, coat, and container, walked towards the dumpster at the end of the lot. So these are a little clearer. This is him with all those items on the ground, getting ready to probably take them. Over here is Barry walking back to the items from his vehicle. And then over here, this is Barry at the dumpster. These black and white photos make it tricky, but he's back at the dumpster with that stuff. And again, we have all the colored and clear pictures from the live we did. I do believe we did that yesterday that gave all of the evidence. 12:41 p.m. Barry walked across the lot towards the hotel lobby with nothing in his hands. At 12:42 p.m., Barry entered his hotel room, and Barry does not leave his room per the film until 6:03 p.m. So this is when I do believe he was I'm trying to see here. I'm trying to look ahead. Okay, I'm not going to jump ahead just in case I'm mistaken. So at 3:30 p.m., Barry sent an outgoing message to Suzanne, call me. So what was he doing for 6 hours? 12:42, 6:03. What the hell was he up to? Okay, at 5:15 p.m., Barry received an incoming call from Jeannie Ritter. 5:45 p.m., Barry received another incoming call from Jeannie and Martin Ritter. 5:57 p.m., the telematics of the F-350 registered GPS coordinates at the Holiday Inn parking lot. The previous GPS coordinates for the F-350 registered at 12:28. So again, I guess that's what, 5 hours? 5.5? 6:03 p.m. Barry exits his hotel room wearing a black shirt and his khaki backpack on his back, 6:05 p.m. Barry made an outgoing call to Martin Ritter. 6:06 p.m. Barry pulled his truck in front of the hotel and walked into the lobby before walking back out of the lobby at 6:08. 6:09, Barry made an outgoing call to Morgan Gentile. 6:10, Barry entered the lobby carrying 2 shovels and placed them beside the front desk. He made subsequent trips, placing more tools in the same spot. What was this guy doing? Like they said earlier, that site had a crib. And I mean, he's got a construction site. Why is he bringing the stuff and stashing it in the lobby? Alrighty then. So 6:12, Barry left the hotel lot in his truck. 6:20 p.m. Barry made an outgoing call to Redacted. Hey, Emily, good to see you, friend. 7:21, Barry made an outgoing call to Suzanne. 7:33 p.m., CCSO dispatch called Barry and informed in a 1 minute and 32 second minute call, I guess, that Susan's bike was found. Dispatch called Barry and informed in a 1.5 minute call that Suzanne's bike was found. When asked to describe the bike, Barry did not know what make it was, but said it was blue with colorful pedals. Barry started crying and asked they found the bike. He said he was heading that way and asked, did they find the phone? About 10:30 p.m., Morgan Gentile arrived at the Holiday Inn Express and checked into Barry's room. Returns for Susan's phone and iCloud accounts. Okay. A little bit of hydration here. Well, hello, Copper Horse. Good to see you, friend. Welcome. So, on May 28th, 2020, Apple Incorporated returned records pursuant to a search warrant for Suzanne's account for email that's redacted that was associated with an Apple account created on January 16th, 2019. This account also listed Suzanne's name, address, and phone number. Apple provides a separate identifier known as a person ID, which is understood to be unique to an individual subscriber. In those same Apple records, the person ID associated with Suzanne logged multiple updates to applications through the iTunes Store, including for both LinkedIn and WhatsApp applications. This indicates that Susan had WhatsApp and LinkedIn installed on her device through May 9th, 2020, when the last update was logged for each. Yeah. Suzanne's Verizon return. So this is what we need. Actually, this is what we're wanting, all this information from Brian Koberger. We want all of these returns. We know what they asked for, but we don't know what they've got. So I'm happy that in here, I mean, this is a past case that they decided not to, I guess, complete or decided not to go through with because they were waiting to find Suzanne. So I'm really hoping that there's enough information that Suzanne, whether it's clothes, kind of marks on bone, whatever, I really hope that it gives some kind of indication. And I wonder if they can do anything with those, like can they scent or do anything with the shovels themselves? would that hold on to, I don't know DNA very well, just the basics, right? But if he buried someone that was deceased with those shovels, would a necro or a dog that can sniff out human remains, would they be able to detect anything on a shovel that was used to bury her? Just a question I have. I'm not sure. So again, Suzanne's Verizon return. Per location coordinates received from several warrants. I heard that there's about 130 warrants for property, and we just see a few. We don't see the whole bunch of them, but we get a very good idea through the paperwork. So, S.A. Grusing determined that she traveled to Florida, staying in various hotels in Naples and Marco Island between January 31st, 2020 and February 16th, 2020. They would be able to, do you think? Yeah? So the BK trial, when does that start? They don't have a date yet for that. Um, I did see something that was being tossed around not long ago, but I honestly do not remember that date because it just didn't stick because I don't expect it to continue. Seems like a bunch of frantic mumbo jumbo to me. I will be keeping my eyes out that, and as soon as I have some dates, I will absolutely let you know, friend. This guy's plan to detail before, during, and after is totally insane. That's what I think, Tracy. I honestly think that he walked in and maybe caught her talking to her boyfriend. This is just one of the many theories that rumble around in my brain. So what if he did? Because they've also got him running around that house just after he gets there, and we don't hear from Suzanne ever again, right? So ran around that house, and he said she was just relaxing while he's shooting chipmunks. It's just like, oh my word. He did a good job covering his tracks. I don't think he expected anyone to find her. Now it's a whole new ball game. That's how I see it, friend. That's how I see it. I have very little doubt that he has done this. What are where she was tucked away, what were the real chances of anything along these lines? Yes, cadaver dogs are trained to smell out uh, DBs. They will pick it up in a vehicle, an instrument, and where they may be buried. Thank you. I wonder, wouldn't that be? I mean, I would think that they would want those tools that he brought in, the shovels. I would think. Alrighty, so let's get back to this. Grusing determined that she traveled to Florida, staying in various hotels. She communicated primarily with Sheila Oliver, Barry, Gene Moorman, and Kurt Sigler. May 5th, 2020. Suzanne's texts and locations confirm her trip to Gunnison to drop off Redacted. Also, that Redacted and Redacted could travel together. May 6, 2020, at 8:44 a.m., Susan sent Redacted a text. Good morning. I miss you already. Her next message was to Barry at 10:13 a.m., stating, I'm done. I could care less what you're up to and what you've been up to for years. We just need to figure this out civilly. So that particular message was deleted from Barry's phone, not hers. May 6, 2020, from 2:43 p.m. to 5 p.m., Barry sent her an S text, self-deleting text, which he deleted from his phone. May 7th, 2020, Suzanne sent Redacted videos of the chat, Lulu from inside Morphew's house, and exchanged messages with her. May 7th, 2020, 4:43 p.m., Suzanne messaged Barry, been studying all afternoon. I'm going for a bike ride now. I've got veggie soup on for supper. May 2020, May 8th, 2020 at 7:02 a.m. Suzanne's notes folder was last backed up, wherein she articulated over 50 grievances against Barry, one of which refers to Barry accusing her on May 6th of having a boyfriend. On May 8th, 2020 at 8:43 a.m., Suzanne sent Barry the message, "Sorry, I forgot about Rob Mazzal last night, but I'll continue to do your invoicing when you need to." May 8th from 9:01 to 9:28 a.m. Suzanne messaged Melinda Baumunk. I believe that's Beaumont. It's hard dealing with the harsh abrasiveness and having to show respect. He's also been abusive emotionally and physically. Damn. I mean, this guy. I mean, narcissistic a little bit, you figure? Where is this coming from? Is it him directly or evidence, phone, emails, etc.? Most of this stuff is coming from what we just went through there. That come from a warrant that was set to Verizon, and this is what they got back as far as information. So no, it's this is the indictment for his first arrest and everything that they have. So next, it's going to be Suzanne's Instagram account, and this is what they got back from there. This is all the information that came back. So S.A. Grusing interviewed Robin Binford, a friend of Susan's from Indiana, on June 30th, 2020. Binford had known Suzanne Morphew since middle school and was her close friend through high school. She and Suzanne have constantly communicated through Facebook and Instagram over the years. Binford stated that she had some problems with the way Suzanne supposedly went missing based upon Suzanne's normal routines. On Saturday, before the weekend, Suzanne went missing. She posted an Instagram story video about her and Redacted, stating, "Redacted always surprised her." I wonder if she's probably talking about Jeff, I'm thinking. We know his name now. Suzanne used the Instagram story to take photos to document each of her bike. Binford said that upon hearing that Suzanne went missing, he checked Instagram and found that Suzanne did not post anything about a ride. Binford knew that Suzanne was still grieving her loss of her mother within the past 2 years or so, and that Mother's Day was going to be a difficult day for her. Binford did not think that Suzanne would choose to spend that day without her girls and husband. Fair enough. Hey, Hetty. Welcome, friend. Welcome. Let's scroll up a little bit and see what I've missed. He thought he did a good job, and he did for a while, but these idiots always make one mistake. Absolutely. I'm sure I heard Suzanne's phone was missing. I take it they found it, or is this all coming from his devices? Some from his and some from hers. From the discovery when he was arrested for emming her. How does he explain the fact that he was tossing garbage in multiple locations? Well, from what I've heard so far, he's just saying he was cleaning out his truck. And if he had old boots, he'd throw that out. And if there was old clothes of his, he'd throw that out too. That's basically what he has said so far. Says that he didn't have garbage service while living in $1 million home. Hello, Hattie and Mabel. Well, and that's the thing. I highly doubt that. Thank God Suzanne was found. Never have known any of this without her. Yeah. His story is BS, in my opinion. Seriously waiting for the autopsy to be finished. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes from the coroner, comes from everything that they are able to look at. Because there should be, how do you put, if it was a dramatic passing, then there will be something left. And I love the fact that Dr. Bodden said, due to where she was found, that desert atmosphere might help keep those bones and everything in a condition that they will be able to test. But her remains were spread around. So there's a lot, right? Okay, so this from a review of Suzanne Morphew's Instagram account obtained through a search warrant in the state of Colorado. The attached pictures of her, often in bikini, or sorry, bikini, I'm thinking sunshine and palm trees, biking outfits, were located with the dates. Okay, so we got May 6, 2020 at 4:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, with the location of Little Rainbow. So that's this one, Little Rainbow Trail. April 27th at 4:36 p.m. with location says Mount Shavano, and that's this picture here. And then at April 20th at 2:18 p.m., again Mountain Standard, with the location of the Methodist Mountain, and captions, first single track and broke my first chain. Right here. She really seemed to be getting some enjoyment. Search warrant redacted phone. Per the Varian warrant served on redacted cell phone, the following message was sent from redacted on May 10th, 2020 at 3:50 p.m., over an hour before Martin Ritter reported her missing. I'm just so sad and redacted. And I text mom for Mother's Day and she still hasn't answered, and I'm scared. I'm scared her and dad probably got into a big fight, and I don't even know. It just made me want to be gone even more because I don't want to be around them. It hurts me. And I know if redacted is working, I might have to be home a lot more. It'll probably be the worst summer of my life. Oh my goodness. And that's probably coming from one of the daughters by the sounds of things. So these two had been going at it. So scratches on Barry's arm. Remember, he says that well, let's see what he says. Let's just see. May 13th, 2020, CCSO Deputy Carrico took photos of scratches on Barry's left arm. Again, these pictures, we have gone through all of these in color, looking at the evidence photos in the other video, or the other live, sorry. So this is the canine search on May 23rd, 2020. Search teams, along with canines and canine handlers, Bloodhound Man, Trackers, NecroSearch, searched the 19507 Puma Path property. During the search, 3 different canines were used. Each of the 3 canines were ran blindly and individually during the search. On the west area of the driveway parking area, where a flatbed trailer and Bobcat skid steer were parked. All 3 canines trained, final response alerted. The canines used have been trained in a specific way to alert their handlers when they detect possible human decomp or remains. So on top of the trailer. It should be noted, on the bed of the trailer, there is gravel and dirt. This is an area the canines alerted to. All 3 canines alerted on the Bobcat, and one of the canines jumped into the bobcat and tried to lay down on the driver's seat. The bobcat located at Morphew's property is identified as 2018 Bobcat Compact Skid Steer Model S590 and product identification number AR9 R18813. The flatbed trailer and bobcat skid steer are parked directly next to each other. Oh, Barry, 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 what you gonna do when they come for you? So, bobcat sim removal. On May 28th, 2020, Deputy Randy, Caracato was the assistant with the assistance of FBI. S.A. David Donati removed the SIM card describer identity module from the CalAmp device. This is the device Agent Graham learned about the Barry had on his Bobcat skid steer. This device utilizes Verizon Connect services and is a GPS tracking device. Nice. S.A. Hoyland spoke with S.A. Donati and requested a search warrant be applied to obtain what data this SIM card may contain. At present, Barry's use of the Bobcat does not appear to be connected to Suzanne's disappearance. And that's it. Not that I've seen so far. And I think that's the first time that I really heard there was decomp or anything on that flatbed. Yep. Well said. Never tell them you're leaving. Just go. Safety first. 100% couldn't agree with you more. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine the trial itself? This is going to take years. Always the same with all victim. Once they begin a life, these narcissist monsters strike. Once they begin a life, these narcissistic monsters strike. Couldn't even say it better. Yep. That is their end goal. The faster you can get away from somebody that has narcissistic traits, the best way to deal with them is make yourself gone. Get away from them. They don't need to know where you are. They don't ever need to know where you are. So many people do just leave, but monsters like this, so much mental abuse. If that doesn't work, it's violence. 1000%. It's a scary time. You just have to be very cautious. You have to have your wits about you. These people can be extremely dangerous because they don't think of anyone but themselves, ever. I've had previous experience for many years. My mother was very narcissistic. Very narcissistic. And then, of course, the first couple of serious relationships I got into, narcissists, because that's how I was used to being treated. Get away. Get away. I was married to a narcissist. It was the worst 3 years. Oh, it is. You almost feel like you're going to lose your brain. You do. I was with, my mother, and then my first husband was narcissistic, as was my second. Second one, way worse. The first one I knew I had to get away from, and I did, as well as the second one. I did. I just left. Just like Dandy said, I just left. And I've never seen him since. That was maybe 14 years ago. Yeah, it is literally tortures. They do. They make you think it's you. The mental torture is far worse than the physical. Absolutely. Absolutely. You get trained to think you're not worthy, and you have to literally retrain your brain. You have to understand that you are worth something, that these people are broken and they wanted to break you. So, like, let's go back to what Dandy said. Never tell them you're leaving. Just go. Safety first. Best advice ever. I know. I literally thought I was going to lose my brain. I really did. Oh, and the fights. And I'm a fighter, not a runner. So, yeah, it was fun. Not. Everything that is wrong in your marriage is your fault. That's how they make you feel. So where can you go? Yeah, that's right. That's right. I just left. I had a holiday trailer and my dog's in a vehicle. No, I didn't have a holiday trailer at the time. I had a motorhome. So yeah, I just peaced straight out. Gone. Okay, so we've heard that a lot of Barry and Suzanne's fights were over money. So this here is what has come back from the Warrens on their bank accounts. So I'm fairly curious to see what the hell. Hey, Dandy, is it super dry in your side of the Rockies? Because our side is super dry. Not what you would expect for living in the mountains. Super dry. So on May 20th, 2020, your affiant served warrants to Equifax, TransUnion to identify what credit accounts Suzanne and Barry would have currently and or at the time frame of Suzanne's disappearance. Because we did read earlier that Barry was saying that he was her bank card. She didn't need it. He gave her $300 or $400 a week. That was her spending money. Yeah. It also was said, Suzanne also said to him, basically, I want my money back. So we know that she got 2 inheritances. Both of them, I do believe, were over 200,000. So I'm assuming that would be the money that Barry owes her back. Just pop in on your side for a second, because where did I see that? We are worthy and valuable. You are loved. Never forget that. Oh, it is, right? Isn't that the most bizarre thing? Isn't that? I try to tell my family about the area, people that have never been here, and they're like, no. I mean, we got lakes, waterfalls, snow, all that stuff, and we are, as you say, bone dry. We are, Dandy, could not agree more, but at the time, believing and trusting that is never allowed, and it does not follow you in your future. Trust. Oh, I have major trust issues. Major. It's too peoply outside. I like you guys. So, okay, let's see here. May 28th, they got this back from Equifax and TransUnion, providing the following are open and active accounts for Suzanne and Barry. So they've got 6 of them. Indiana Members Credit Union, Capital One, Cabela's, Discover, Commenti, I think, Bank, Victoria's Secret, Fifth Third Bank, and Credit One. Your affiant has served warrants on these accounts, and the results are being compiled and analyzed by the FBI and a private forensic accountant. Indiana Members Credit Union. On June 6, 2020, your affiant served via email a search warrant to the Indiana Members Credit Union requesting bank records for the Morphews. June 9th, your affiant received via email from Deborah Morelli, Loss Prevention Manager, the requested record for the Morphew account. With the records, there is documentation that on June 5th, 2020, Barry called the bank and requested his email address be changed from redacted. Really? Collegiate Peaks Bank. Per search warrant served by your affiant on Collegiate Peaks Bank on May 26, 2020, Barry withdrew $5,846.22 in the Susan Morphew Foundation, which brought that balance to zero. The account was opened on March 5th with a deposit of $5,880. Huh. Oh my God, this man. I want to BITCH slap him. So, possible second device for Barry. On June 11th, 2020, your affiant received information from the FBI, S.A. Grusing, and computer scientist Brian Turner that while reviewing the data from the cell phone extraction of Barry's iPhone, they found a second device, user ID, and gives you the number and the identifier, associated with Barry's iPhone with SMS at 3:43:44 Mountain Standard on May 8th, 2020. The second device, so user ID, primary user, so they're giving us both user IDs here. The second device was first used on November 30th, 2019, and was associated with Barry's iPhone 9. Time since then compared to 1,701 associations with the primary ID since November 2019. And this was dates this device was associated with Barry's iPhone since May 5th, 2020. And this does give a bunch of dates. As of the present date, the second device has not been identified. So, FBI proof of life fugitive searches. Per the request of FBI S.A. Grusing, with the assistance of FBI Safe Streets Task Force, the following searches were done through the FBI and its federal partners in attempts to locate Suzanne as if she was a fugitive or a missing person. August 26, 2020, Agent Brian Palmer, Homeland Security Investigations, HSI, Denver, Colorado, checked border crossings for Susan R. Morphew or Susan R. HEUERMANN with the birth date of April 30th, 1971. Redacted, and provided the following text. And again, we have this picture in the other stream. So just check out the playlist and it'll speed you right up. I don't have any land border crossings for her. The last travel I have was her returning from San Jose, Mexico to Dallas, Texas on December 2nd, 2019 on American Airlines flight number 1385. On August 25th, 2020, FBI S.A. Martin Daniel requested flight information from National Airlines reporting agency and found flights for Suzanne on July 24th, 2019 and July 28th, 2019, August 13th, 2019, and August 17th, 2019. More flights were located for a Susan HEUERMANN in April 2020, but this person did not appear to be identical to Suzanne. On August 24th, 2020, Patricia T. Ellswick, Technical Information Specialist, FBI, CJIS Division, Global Law Enforcement Support Section, NCIC Operations and Policy Unit Investigative and Operational Assistance Group, provided emails of the offline records check for any law enforcement queries of Suzanne. The spreadsheets provided multiple queries from Chaffee County Sheriff's Office and the CBI from May 10th through 12th, 2020. SHP Cheyenne Redacted queried her on May 13th, 2020, and Loveland PD Redacted queried her once on May 14th, 2020, both during the widespread news stories. Besides the CCSO, CBI, and FBI queries from the Colorado offices in June and July 2020, the Okeechobee, did I say that right? Sheriff's Office in Florida queried Suzanne Morphew, date of birth April 30th, 1971, 3 times on July 10th, 2020. August 25, 2020, S.A. Grusing spoke with the dispatch operator Joanne. Joanne? Let's go Joanne. I was calling her Joni, but I think it's Joanne. For Okeechobee's sheriff's office and learned that CBI requested a welfare check for Suzanne Morphew because of the Okeechobee address for her father, Gene Moorman. Suzanne was not located. Wyoming State Highway, Okeechobee's address for her father, blah, blah. Let's go back here. Wyoming State Highway Patrol Dispatch and Loveland PD Dispatch confirmed to S.A. Grusing on September 1st, 2020, that they had no contact with Suzanne, but were simply running an attempt to locate based upon CCSO's entry. August 25th, 2020, FBI Operations Support Technician Dana Plumhoff provided the following checks per the request of S.A. Grusing. Nothing of significance in Suzanne's clear report. No activity seen tied her since 2019. Suzanne R. Morphew Hope Foundation was first filed in Indiana in 2012, is registered as a nonprofit of Colorado Secretary of State on February 2020 by Barry Morphew at 19057 Puma Path, Salida. So he took the money that was out of that and put it in his own brand new fluffy bank account. What a dickwad. OST Plumhoff further noted that as of May 11th, 2020, CCSO entered Suzanne as a missing person in the National Crime Information Center, NCIC, the database. For checks in accruant, nothing of significance was found by OST Plumhoff for Suzanne beside her ties to the Puma Path address in Salida as of May 2020. No electric or utilities were found in her name. Her social security number had not been used since May 2020. No new physical address or PO boxes for her name or social security number were located. Nor were any liens, judgments, or loans accrued under her name. So August 26, 2020, FBI SOS Kelly Rose Olson requested a nationwide facial analysis comparison and evaluation. Face Services searched for Suzanne Morphew using the photo that we just looked at. The service through the FBI's Criminal Justice Information Services, CJIS system, compares the photo of Suzanne to the issuance of visas, passports, driver's license. Unreal. I didn't know this. License photos taken 18 states and the Department of Defense automated biometric identification system, ABIS. To date, none of these databases have provided any biometrics that match those of Susan. Biometrics? Are you kidding me? For checks in the international FBI database, several financial related results on Susan and Barry were referenced from 2018 to 2013 to 2018. It appears they had access to large accounts large amounts of cash. The reporting parties were concerned about the money's structuring. On June 24, 2020, Barry made a $20,000 deposit at Collegiate Peaks Bank in Salida on Suzanne's behalf. He has a history of making large deposits and wire transfers. I wonder if that's due to the business, or is he just like that broke and taking her money? That's what I think. I'm coming over to you guys. Hello. Just looking at, see where I need to catch up here. I always thought it was weird that he called the neighbor to check on her. You know what? I feel the same. That was a pretty unusual and interesting way to go about things. Things with these people, the outside world, neighbors, you're perfect. It's the victim that's crazy. Sadly, many people believe it, believe the monsters. Way too often do they believe the monsters, Tracy. Way too often. If you've got a parent that's messed up and they say something derogatory, untrue and derogatory about you. So let's say something happens and this parent, this narcissistic parent says, oh, you know, they're so troubled, they're so this, puts out all of these lies to make it look like this child of theirs is, again, like a nutbag. It blows me away. They will believe the mother before they will ever, or the father, whichever it may be, before they will ever believe the child. It's a strange, scary world out there. Loading and unloading the tools of his trade, I think, was being clever there. Reminds me of Watts loading his vehicle with tools. That's exactly, watching him walk in there with those shovels gave me nothing but what the actual hell. That's exactly how I felt about it. Like, are you kidding me? The neighbor, it's all the game. You see, I'm perfect. I'm concerned husband. Told you months ago she's crazy. Yeah, the neighbors will believe. Shauna was thinking the exact same thing. He kept the digging tools at the hotel to prevent Ellie potentially taking soil samples from them that would connect him to the site Suzanne was buried. That is exactly my thoughts. Yeah, I'll eat crow too. You and I can have a crow dinner. Yeah, good eye, Perry. The way he covered so many tracks and every move he made. Right. I agree, Dandy, but can they convict him in court yet? Ay, ay, ay. Hello, Jessica. Welcome, friend. Welcome, welcome. So let's see here. So the CBI laboratory results. On June 3rd, 2020, the CBI laboratory, hereafter CBI lab, provided results of DNA analysis for the CCSO case and the case number 65 evidence items to include DNA buccal swabs from the Morphew family members, Andrew Mormon, redacted, and others were listed. Of note, no workable DNA was recovered from the Bobcat blade, the PNUE-dart box, or the dryer. On August 31st, 2020, S.A. Grusing reviewed the lab result with CBI lab forensic scientist Caitlin Rogers to discuss results relevant to the affidavit. The following items were noted. The DNA on the bicycle seat, item 5.1, we have seen that picture, included a mix of 4 people. Suzanne's being the primary with Barry and one other responding CCSO personnel, Caricato being included. The 4th male is unknown. The DNA on the bicycle grips, item 6.1, included a DNA mixture of 4 people: Suzanne, Sergeant Molyneux being primary contributors. Barry was excluded as a contributor. The DNA on the bicycle brakes and handlebars included a mixture of 4 people: Suzanne, Deputy B. Brown, Deputy Shoot were primary contributors. Barry was excluded. The front door, the driver's side front door of the 2005 white Land Rover, license plate CSU581, was tested, and the DNA was consistent with samples of Barry and Suzanne. Redacted and redacted were excluded. A plastic hypodermic cover collected from the dryer was tested by CBI for DNA. A low-level partial DNA mixture to 2 people was recovered, with Suzanne and redacted being possible contributors. Barry was excluded as a contributor. The dart needle, collected by CCSO, submitted as dart from box in garage, was swabbed, and partial DNA profile was developed, with Barry included as a contributor with moderate support. The dart body, collected by CCSO, submitted as dart from box in garage, was swabbed, and low-level DNA reference that redacted could have been a contributor. The exterior cushions of the helmet were tested for DNA, and a partial profile was developed. The mixture was more likely to involve Barry and Susan than coming from anywhere else by a factor 6.2 times. That's a lot, is it not? Okay. So Barry's liquidation of assets. So yeah, he started to liquidate assets or something like a month it was. We have some of the paperwork here. We'll check it out. Okay. Have to hydrate and we'll get into it. What do you guys think? Do you guys see anybody other than Barry as a suspect? How do you feel about that? I'm really, really curious because we're not seeing any other names. Not that I'm finding. I mean, even the fact that he took money from that that nonprofit that Suzanne had. Yeah, my question too. Who else could it be? Exactly. Wonder if they're able to get any tissue samples for toxicology to see about the tranquilizer. Yeah. It's disturbing, isn't it? That stands out in my mind, that tranquilizer dart found in the sheets. Yeah, you see, I agree with all of you, except the obvious one. Yeah. Good to see you, Jessica. Alrighty. So, within a month of Susan's disappearance, Barry began to liquidate their assets. On June 1st, 2020, Barry petitioned for guardianship in Hamilton County, Indiana, of Susan for him to act as her guardian. This filing allowed Barry to sign documents on Suzanne's behalf and sell their residence in Indiana and Colorado. Redacted filed consent for the guardianship. Below are some screenshots of the court documents. So what is this? Hamilton Superior Court in the matter of guardianship, Suzanne Morphew, an adult missing person. Petition for appointment of guardian over Suzanne Morphew, a missing person. Barry L. Morphew, petitioner herein, being first duly sworn, petitions this court to appoint a guardian of Suzanne Morphew, and in support of this petition states as follows. 1. Name, age, residence of address, and alleged incapacitated person. The alleged incapacitated person, Suzanne Morphew, is an adult person who is 49, born on April 30th, 1971. Years of age and resides at 19057 Puma Path, Salida. Currently, she is a missing person, having left her residence on Mother's Day, Sunday, May 10th, 2020, and has not been seen since. Petitioner requests the court to take judicial notice of the investigation surrounding her disappearance, which can easily be located upon an internet search. Notice of nature of disability. Suzanne Morphew is deemed incapacitated under Indiana law because she cannot be located upon reasonable inquiry. The need to assist for the appointment of a guardian of the alleged incapacitated person is it's small, in that she cannot be located upon reasonable inquiry, and property in Hamilton County, Indiana needs to be sold. Wherefore, your petitioner prays the court to enter an order. 1. Enter an order waiving notice of hearing. 2. Finding all necessary consents and waivers of notice and hearing have been secured and filed from all interested persons. 3. Adjudicate that Susan Morphew is an incapacitated person. 4. Finding that a guardian of the estate of Suzanne Morphew needs to be appointed. 5. Finding that Barry L. Morphew is a suitable person to serve as the guardian of the estate of Suzanne Morphew. 6. Appointing Gary L. Morphew as the guardian of the estate of Suzanne Morphew. 7. Approve the sale of Hamilton County real estate in the protected person's name. 8. Waiving bond, inventory, and accountings. And 9. For all other relief which is proper in the premises. He signed it. I hereby affirm under the penalties of perjury that the facts contained in the foregoing are true to the best of my knowledge, information, or belief. Yeah. I just don't have a lot to say to him. Yeah. Like, it's like verbal diarrhea. It's like this guy, in my mind, is so obvious that it's like, why has it taken this long? He's just so obvious. Who else could have possibly have done this? Who else may have had a motivation? Sounds like nobody. Everybody thought this woman was adorable. Her kids loved her. The only one really having any kind of problem with her is Barry. And, what the hell? So, on June 6, 2020, Barry closed on the 26040 Cal Carson Road, Arcadia, Indiana property with a closing price of $750,000. Nice. Your affiant served Bank of the West and a search warrant for accounts associated to Barry and Suzanne Morphew. For an account of redacted and Barry Morphew, redacted, there's a deposit dated February 24, 2020 for $40,000 from Monax. The June 19, 2020, there is a check written to Barry Morphew. The signer appears to be redacted in the amount of $30,000. July 1st, 2020, Kent Townsend told your affiant that on June 25, 2020, Barry paid $160,000 for the Lot 8 property at Longhorn Ranch in Salida. Barry sold this back to Townsend on February 17th, 2020 for $150,000. Lost a little bit in that one. July 16th, 2020, Barry initiated a title change from Suzanne's Range Rover, selling it to Troy and Elizabeth Riley of Deputy, Indiana on July 16th, 2020. Why the hell would he be doing this? Selling their houses, selling the vehicles. I mean, holy shite. On March 3rd, 2021, the recorder's office in Salida informed your affiant that they had just received a special warranty deed that the 19057 Puma Path was sold to Mountain Renewal LLC for $1,625,000. So he has taken away the homes that she would have known to come home to. He's sold her vehicle. What the hell? 2020, July, even back to March. She went missing in February. Come on, man. Like, how is this not obvious? Why is this taking so long? Right? This one is so obvious that Ray Charles can see what's going on here. It's just like, I'm reading this and it's so frustrating. Just so frustrating. I don't think it should have taken this long. Alrighty, so let's go here. Section 5, interviews. Morgan interview on May 4th, 2020. Colorado, or the CBI agent, Kevin Kobach and Joseph Cahill conducted a consensual interview with Morgan and Gentile in Salida, California. Oh my God, guys. Colorado. How many pages? Morgan stated that around July 2019, she returned to Salida and started work at Dieslin Structures Incorporated. She first met Barry through DSI, and they have worked together frequently. In January 2020, Morgan was terminated from DSI over allegations she was using illegal substances. Though she asserted she did not use substances. After she was terminated, Barry hired her on as a contractor for his company, Sunset Farms Landscaping. This man has just literally so crazy. That's it. Franky has gone. Oh my God, man. And why did the system let this guy walk? Why all this vomiting in my mouth with everything he has to say? And that's when a true narcissist comes into play. Knows she's gone by his hands. Now the game begins in his eyes. Yeah, like, oh my God, you guys. Unreal. 3 years. It's been 3 years with all of this. And we're literally, guys, only on page 49. They had all of this information. But, I mean, if having Susan's remains will make it to them a touchdown, then that's what has to happen. I mean, it's really hard to question them because sometimes, well, no, it's easy to question them. Don't get me wrong. It's easy to question them, but at times they are doing it for a reason. So if the reason here is they had everything they needed, but they just wanted like the cherry on the cake, and that was her, didn't want to take a chance in losing this, then yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, Tracy, having all this info and still walked with no charges. What? I was like, what? Oh my God, man. So I'm finding I curse. I'm a cursor. I swear a lot. But I am now learning all of these really bizarre words like, oh my word, oh my God, what? Like, instead of going, what the F? Like, oh my God. This is one of those cases that it's really, really hard not to swear. It's like, are you kidding me? What? So let's see here. Let's go up. Morgan stated that around July 2019, she returned to Salida and started work with Dreslin Structures for Smith Berry. We've been there, done that. Barry frequently talks to Morgan about his two daughters. He has never spoken of any marital or other family issues. Barry, that's really odd to me because I thought he'd be running around saying she was like some kind of nutball. But yeah, that's well said too, Tracy. Yeah, that's well said too. Understand that they had to gather so much info, but at the same time, he has had time to play and come up with so much other alibis and stories. Yeah, let's just hope the state weren't very professionally or timely either. Very mishandled case. And that's the thing, and that it's the scary part. It was not handled properly last time, so they're gonna need a new team. The state is gonna have to have new prosecutors. They can't have them working at this, or I think it won't work. They can't have that kind of doubt floating around. Okay, so let's see here. Barry told Morgan about the Broomfield job sometime in mid-April 2020. Morgan stated that the job was supposed to start between April 23rd, 2020 and April 30th, 2020. However, she was not sure of the exact date. Barry then changed the job to take place on or about the first week of May. Barry then rescheduled the job to begin May 11th. Morgan stated that May 8th, Barry picked her up from Anytime Fitness, 9985 Highway 50, Poncha Springs, Colorado. They traveled to the job site at 6962 County Road, 105, Salida. They arrived at around 8 a.m., completed a rock beach project, and left. At around 11 a.m., Barry took her back to the vehicle by Anytime Fitness, paid her cash for the job, and left. Morgan stated that Barry mentioned he was going to go hiking or biking. Barry was supposed to pick Morgan up around 5:30 p.m. on Sunday, May 10th, 2020, D-Day, to drive to a hotel in Broomfield, Colorado. Cassidy Cordova was supposed to drive up separately and meet them on Monday, May 11th. Morgan stated that around 4 a.m. on May 10th, 2020, she was confident she heard Barry's Ford F-350 drive eastbound past her house on Highway 50. Morgan stated she did not see the truck, but the truck has a very distinctive exhaust. At about 11:18 a.m. on May 10th, 2020, Barry called Morgan and explained she needed to bring an additional person because of the amount of work needed to repair the wall. She agreed she would bring another contractor, Jeff Puckett. Just Puckett. Barry never provided an explanation why he left early or why he did not pick her up. Yeah, Barry. Morgan stated later she picked up Jeff and drove towards Broomfield at about 6:09 p.m. Barry called and said he had a family emergency and had to return to Salida. Barry left tools at the hotel and said he would call her the next day. On May 11th, 2020, at about 7 a.m., Barry called Morgan and said Suzanne was missing and he thought a mountain lion may have attacked her. Here we go. I'm sorry, but there would be a little bit of evidence left behind and a whole lot of DNA. Morgan explained that Barry was initially crying, but then abruptly shifted to the specifics about the Broomfield job. Morgan adamantly denied there was any type of sex relationship between her and Barry. So Jeff Puckett, investigator Richard Wren, interviewed Jeff Puckett. Puckett was one of the workers who was supposed to meet Barry Morphew in Broomfield May 10th, 2020, to complete a landscape job. Puckett stated that he was contacted by Morgan Sunday, May 10th, to see if he wanted to go to Denver to work on a job for Barry. After being asked by Morgan, Puckett contacted Barry directly. Puckett had no knowledge of the job until he was contacted by Morgan. Monday, Puckett and Morgan met up with Cassidy Cordova, who was helping them. So the next is Cassie Cordova's interview. May 14th, 2020. Investigator Richard Wren interviewed Cassidy Cordova. Cordova advised that she had contact with Barry Morphew. Oh, let's make that bigger for you guys. What the hell was I thinking? Okay. May 14th, investigator Richard Wren interviewed Cassidy Cordova. Cordova advised he had contact with Barry Morphew early in the week on May 4th, and Barry mentioned that he may need Cordova to help him with a job in Denver next week. Barry said that he would get back with Cordova at 1:45 p.m. to ask about the job. Barry asked Cordova to help with the job since Cordova, was already in Colorado Springs. Cordova met the rest of the crew in Denver on Monday morning. Well, hey, Shauna, 3 months. Congrats. I appreciate you. I know it's more. That's awesome, Thran. That's awesome. Thank you for your support. You know how much I appreciate you, Shauna. Yes, they get friends and family to hate her if she's still present. If not around anymore, he plays victim to get support. That's exactly what he does. That is exactly what they do. Yeah, I was just thinking it's going to be 2030 by the time they get through all this again at trial. Yeah, they still have to charge him. He's not charged. He's free as the wind. Cordova advised, that he has known Barry for about 2 years because they worked together at DSI. Cordova advised that Cody Cox had an issue with Barry over Barry firing him. Cox had been working for Morphew also. Okay, tongue sticking to the top of my face. All righty. Cody Cox's interview. So May 14th, 2020, investigator Richard Wren interviewed Cody. Cox worked with Barry and for Barry's landscape business. Cox and Cordova did a landscape job in Broomfield between August of 2019 and December of 2019. The general The general contractor did not like the job and it had to be repaired several times. After the last attempt to fix the wall, Cox refused to go back to Denver to fix the wall. Barry fired Cox. At the same time, Cox was given ultimatum to leave DSI or be fired because of a hot, he failed his pee test. A hot urinalysis test. They'll get you every time, buddy. Cox, well, not every time. There is stuff to help you out with that. I mean, marijuana. It stays in your body for what, 500 years? Like a month. And everything else, depending on what he was doing, everything else pretty much is out of your system in a day. It is disgusting, actually, how people that have like these really, really bad addictions can literally stay clean for 24, 48 hours. Go do this, pass the test, and they're right back to snorting or poking or doing whatever the hell they do. It's disgusting. And if it's marijuana, you either have to buy one of those kits or you go over a month. So serves them right. He's a dumbass. All righty. Cox asked about the information that he wanted to kick Barry's ass. Cox advised that the rumor was started by Jeff Puckett. Cox said that he was not happy about getting fired, but was not going around saying he wanted to fight Barry. Okay. How old are we, kids? Cox advised that he met Suzanne and talked about how she had brought cookies to his kids. He described Suzanne as a very nice lady. He denied having done anything to Suzanne and denied knowing what happened to Suzanne. Cox advised that Perry never talked bad about his relationship with Suzanne. Surprised. During a subsequent interview on May 22nd, 2020, Cox stated he does not recall ever telling Puckett he wanted to beat up Barry. All right, kids, we got it. We got it. Put your testosterone back where it belongs. May 14th, 2020, Sheila Oliver was interviewed by FBI agent William Rowell. She said that she first met Suzanne when they were roommates and studied together at Purdue University, West Lafayette, Indiana. About 1990, Suzanne married Barry. In August 1994, both families have children in the same age ranges and have started let's come back here, and have raised their kids closely. About 2 years ago, the Morphew daughter, redacted, went to college in Colorado, Western State College in Gunnison. The Morphews then moved to Colorado in 2018. They didn't have their home sold in Indiana before they left. The move seemed to be in a rush. Well, I've never been to either states, but I know that Colorado is much like the Rockies here. So that's I can see what the draw would be. I've lived in the prairies, raised in prairies. I couldn't get out of there fast enough. It's like you could literally watch your dog run away for days. It's like, no. Let's come back here for a second. It's the kids I'm feeling for having to live with not just losing their mom, but this about their dad. Not sure how the kids are. They honestly don't believe that their dad is guilty in any way, shape, or form. They think he's an innocent man. They tried to hold on to the belief that she was still alive. They are, how old would they be? Like 18 and 19, I'm gonna guess. But yeah, they have a lot to deal with right now. And if they do recharge Barry, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard for these girls regardless. So this narcissist behavior has gotten to them. Absolutely has. Absolutely has. She basically has them convinced, from what I've read anyways. What do you say? The YouTube streets. He ran the show. He ran the show. And outwardly appear that they support him, but we really have no idea. Yeah, I think it would be very, very hard to acknowledge that one parent did this to another. I couldn't even imagine having to try and figure that out. Well, with my mom, I would just go, "Yeah, guilty." Mother from hell. Alrighty. So Barry was domineering in the marriage with Susan. So he was really close with the girls, it seems. It seemed like they all were they were close to both parents. So yeah, it's a hard situation. So okay, here we go. He would tell her she had to change in order for them to get along. Money was a big issue between them. Barry was very controlling with money. He insisted Suzanne use cash, but he would charge hunting equipment on his credit card. He invested in the silver market, and then it bottomed out. Suzanne did not stand up for herself until recently. The marriage had become very rocky by 2018. There was hope. A move to Colorado and making a new start would help things. There was never a definite reason for Redacted going to college in Colorado and the family moving there. Suzanne thought it would be nice for them to live near Redacted, though. Suzanne came back to visit Sheila twice from Colorado. Once was Thanksgiving 2018, while the Morphews were still trying to sell their house in Indiana, while Suzanne was at the Oliver's house. She had stepped away from her cell phone to use the restroom, and Barry tried calling her several times within a few minutes. Then tried calling Sheila, then tried calling Darren. He was persistent and obsessive about knowing where she was, at least when she was with Sheila. The other time was July 2019, when Suzanne returned to Indiana to visit Sheila and then went to Michigan to visit her dad. Barry called Sheila saying he couldn't get in touch with Suzanne. Suzanne told Sheila this was odd because Barry never bothered to call Suzanne any other times. He was just very persistent in checking up on Suzanne when she was with Sheila. Well, we also know what all that's about. Again, yeah. Example, look at the Charlotte scene case. Like, that is something else. Yeah. Who does that? Builds a big drywall. I would have ripped myself if that was just drywall. Oh man, that wouldn't have held me. No way. That was a good kid that they had. That kid is very good. And yeah, it didn't belong to be in a freaking box. So let's see here. The Oliver's daughter, Hannah, was married on Sunday, May 10th, 2020. Hannah was like a daughter to Suzanne. The wedding was originally going to include many people, and Suzanne was going to attend, but due to COVID-19 restrictions, it was limited to immediate family and was live streamed. Suzanne was going to watch it. She would have not missed it for the world. On Saturday, May 9th, 2020, Sheila sent 2 Snapchats to Suzanne in the morning, which were later opened. Later in the evening, Sheila sent 3 more snaps to Suzanne that were never received, as reflected on Sheila's cell phone. Sheila stated there is 0% chance that Suzanne would run off and not at least tell one of her daughters or Sheila. If she had left Barry, she would have contacted one of her daughters or Sheila to let them know what was going on. Suzanne would not self-harm. Her religious beliefs would not allow her to do this. Unreal. This poor family, like one person in the family, just this one person, and the destruction is immense. Sheila said that Suzanne suspected Barry had an extramarital affair based on Barry's behavior, which included him turning off his phone at times, not being there when he said he would be there, always secretive, and not honest with Suzanne. He had to travel back to Hamilton County, Indiana for some type of legal proceeding at least once, but maybe more. Suzanne had given up asking him why because he wouldn't tell her. As Suzanne's suspicions were aroused over the last few years, she wanted to find out what her husband was up to. She wanted to buy a spy pen to find out what he was doing, but was afraid of Barry's reaction if he found out. Suzanne asked Sheila to buy the pen for her on the internet. Sheila did this and gave the pen to Suzanne while they were on vacation together in Florida a few months ago, around February 2020. Ah, that spy pen, hey? I want one of those just because they're cool. I don't know who I'd spy on, but on May 15th, 2020, CBI agents Graham and Cahill interviewed George Davis, who stated he has known Barry for approximately a year and a half. George stated he has not noticed any recent changes in Barry's behavior. George explained that he and Barry work out together, usually 5 days a week. Once the COVID-19 restriction closed the gym, they began working out at George's residence. George explained Barry typically comes over to work out somewhere between 5 and 1900 hours, 5 and 7. George stated he and Barry hunt together and work at the same fire station, number 5. George stated he last physically saw Barry either Thursday or Friday when he worked out at his house. George explained since he works 1 week on and 1 week off, he believed that they may have worked out earlier around 4 p.m. George stated Barry has never confided in him about any type of marital problems. George stated Barry loves his children and his relationship with Suzanne seemed normal. George explained he and his wife, Lindsay Davis, have gone on several dates with Barry and Susan. George stated Sunday, May 10th, 2020, he was at his residence when he received a phone call from CCFDD Lieutenant Tim Nelson, who informed him a bike was located over an embankment by Barry's house. George stated he turned on his fire radio and called Barry. Barry stated he was outside Bonavista on his way back. George believed he called Barry between 5:30 and 6. Was my translation off? Probably. George stated he responded to the area where Suzanne's bike was found. When he arrived, he noted the bike had been moved onto the road near a sheriff's vehicle. While still at the scene of the bike, George stated Barry arrived in his black Ford F-350. Barry was wearing jeans and possibly a red-orange flannel shirt. George had conversation with CBI and FBI about his conversations and conclusions that an abduction had taken place with a stage scene. So Morgan Gentile's interview, May 15th. So CBI agents Cahill and Kobach contacted Morgan at her residence in Salida. Morgan spoke about conversations that George Davis had had with her in which George might be attempting to influence her future testimony. Morgan stated she had recalled some additional details about the hotel in Broomfield. Morgan explained after she and Jeff Puckett checked in, they went to their rooms. Jeff went to room 225, the original one rented and used by Barry, and she went to room 228. Morgan explained that Jeff could not figure out how to open the hotel room door, so she opened it. Morgan explained when she opened the door, she immediately smelled a strong odor of chlorine. What the F? She immediately smelled chlorine. Strong odor. Morgan stated that this was not the ordinary house cleaning odors. It was more consistent with what you would smell at a pool. Morgan stated she observed several damp and used towels on the floor. Later, Morgan stated that Jeff found an insurance document under the pillow. The document was thrown in the trash. She could not recall what was on the document. An insurance document under the pillow. The document was thrown in the trash? Why? Later, Morgan and Jeff found the insurance, put it in the trash. When questioned about the job site on Saturday, May 9th, 2020, Morgan stated she recalled an odd comment made by Barry. Morgan explained that after they completed the beach at the River House, 6962, County Road 105, Salida, she rode with Barry to the next site. Morgan stated she commented, pigs could eat an entire human body in 2 hours. What? Barry commented that he would be able to bury a body and would never be found. What a conversation. How did this start? We spoke about Morgan and Barry's financial activities. Morgan stated Barry contacted his stock trader, Dan, heard over the phone with an English type accent. Morgan stated he spoke to Dan on a daily basis. Morgan's timeline to CCSO, July 29th. Morgan Gentile provided a handwritten timeline to CCSO Sheriff John Speasy. The following lines are noted by S.A. Grusing for the affidavit. For Sunday, May 10th, Morgan wrote that she heard Barry's truck at around 5 a.m. She at 11:15, Barry called and was out of breath, panting, but fatigued, kind of like hungover, but he doesn't drink. Oh my God, I know that problem. I don't drink and I swear I'm hungover half the week. Honestly, when I hung up, I thought to myself, he sounded like he had the worst night of his life. Morgan provided more details about her trip to the Broomfield Hotel to include her route. May 10th, she wrote, arrived at the hotel, 10:30, grabbed Barry's tools, went to check in. Morgan wrote that she and Puckett checked in room 228 and 225. When Morgan walked into 225, the smell of chlorine was so strong it made her eyes water. She said, I noticed wet towels at the bottom of the bathroom, and Barry made the bed. For Monday, May 11th, Morgan wrote that they drove to the job site from the hotel. She indicated it looked like Barry had removed top caps. That was it. We also did not have the tools we needed, like a packer or gravel. Crazy. So, guys, let's see, what page are we on? We're on page 53. So I'm going to take a break. Maybe have some breakfast. And I think what we'll do is, what time is it? Noon? I'll come back and stream again at 3. I'll set up a new link for 3 o'clock and we'll continue with the documents. So again, what page did we find ourselves on? 53. Okay, good to go. So yeah, that is where I'm going to leave it for now. We're almost at the 2-hour mark. And I'll give my body a little bit of a break, have something to eat, something to drink, and be ready for the next round. So let me see here. Isn't that the truth? COVID brought so much misery to people, to so many people around the world, but also allowed so much more abuse and death to happen. And the excuse, COVID did it. Fair enough. Be interesting to hear from all these witnesses 3 years after 3 years and wonder how much has changed. Yeah. Turns out he can't bury a body that will never be found under what? 5 inches of soil or something. It sounds like he did not try too hard. So Dandy says, sweet. See everyone later. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to hit that thumb. And if you're not subscribed, please do. Appreciate every single one of you. Everyone who's new, welcome to the think tank. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.